Miracles of Bhagwaan Ji, continued from Part 4. 3. Mr. Philip Simpfendorfer, an Australian devotee of Bhagwaan Ji, says, he, Shri Gwashlal Malla, had once been obsessed by the contrast between the seemingly endless weariness of his life and the statement that the whole of humanity's existence on earth is only a small part of one day in the life of Brahma. In fact, one Brahma's day is 2160 million years. Going to Bhagwaan Ji with the problem, he was given an empty chillum to puff by one of the people present. Feeling giddy, he left but collapsed in the street and someone took him home. At 11 p.m., it was reported to Bhagwaan Ji that the man was still unconscious. Bhagwaan Gopinath said, "It does not matter. He is all right. Put this piece of sugar into his mouth." At about 2 o'clock, he returned to his senses. During the trance, he had lived many cycles of life, only 3 cycles of life, according to the late Gopinath Malla, perhaps ed. And he understood how one day of Brahma could be equal to millions of earthly years. There are umpteen miracles of Bhagwaan Ji which will mentioned in separate video. In Bhagwaan Ji's own handwriting, there are 2 Omkara symbols in the Sharda script written somewhere about 1925 AD, when he was about 27. All the space around and within Omkara I is filled with Rama Rama except that inside each double line forming the Omkara. This suggests that Rama is an adjunct of Omkara. Likewise, Shiva Shiva is written in the case of Omkara, the space between the 2 lines forming the Omkara being blank. The blank spaces in the case of each Omkara seem to represent the formless, immutable and eternal Brahman round which everything centers. Above Omkara 2, the following mantra is written. Shrimat Param Brahma Gurum Vadami, Shrimat Param Brahma Gurum Bhjami. Shrimat Param Brahma Gurum Smrami, Shrimat Param Brahma Gurum Namani. Om Tat Sat Om. These 2 Omkaras clearly point to the 2 paths of realizing Brahman, one through devotion to Rama, i.e. to Vishnu or Narayan, and the other through devotion to Shiva. The mantra above Omkara suggests the recognition of the Guru as Parambrahma. Bhagwaan Ji would often utter the word Narayan. Once he told that Narayanas was the highest Maya. Pointing towards his dhuni he said, "It is Narayana's feet or an aspect. Is not Narayan within your heart? Become a Narayan." Bhagwaan Ji often uttered the name of Shiva also. Just before he gave up his mortal frame, he uttered the words Om Namah Shivaya. In the year 1946, he went on a pilgrimage to Sri Amarnath Ji. There, he gesticulated to make movement with hands in order to express something, and said, "Shiva is dancing everywhere," and he was in a state of ecstasy the whole day. Bhagwaan Ji's philosophy was something to the Trika doctrine, triple, of the Advait Shaivism of Kashmir, with Icha, will, and Kriya, action, predominating. This doctrine means the recognition of the self, and the return of the self through realistic thought, to the state of perfection from which it has fallen. This philosophy represents and harmonizes the triplicate doctrine of man, the universe and the 36 tattvas. Its primary purpose is to explore the nature of the reality and the experiences gained from the regular system of practice for the exposition of thought and the oneness of the individual soul with the universe, through improved materialism. Though there are many principles common to the Vedantic and Shiva philosophies, Shakti is special to the latter. The Shaivas believe that the universe is created, preserved and dissolved in Shiva alone. In Vedanta, it is Maya alone that is responsible for creating the universe, the whole of which is a delusion. The recognition of the self and the return to its original, pristine state of absolute perfection, where we need nothing or lack nothing, is, according to this system, the state of moksha, salvation. The Shaivas argue that the Purusha, Shiva in a limited form, because of the association with the body, takes up the three taints Anava, Maya and Karma, which are responsible for obscuring the true nature of the self, for differentiating between the self and the environment on the one hand, and between good and bad on the other, and are responsible for higher and lower births. It is in the nature of Shiva's supreme will that he hides his real nature from himself and manifests himself in the form of Jiva and then again as one with his true nature. They say that anything created by Shiva cannot be unreal, and so this phenomenal world is not unreal. Trika is regarded as an experience of the individual awakening to the level of the universal consciousness, and is believed to carry a man on the path of equilibrium. This philosophy believes in self-recognition, action and devotion. This is borne out by Bhagwaan Ji's actions over a number of years. It is said that yogis feel the presence of Shiva in the Atman, the soul, and not in the Pratimas, idols. We cannot say whether the Narayan cult or the Shiva cult predominated in Bhagwaan Ji's mind or whether his was a synthesis of these two cults. It has been said, Shivaya Vishnu Rupaya, Shivarupaya Vishnave, Shivasya Hridayam Vishnu, Vishnoshcha Hridayam Shiva, I Shiva and Vishnu are one and the same. According to Adi Shankaracharya, so long as one considers oneself a separate and external entity, the Supreme Ishvara, too, is an external entity as also the external universe. When, however, one effaces and transcends one's individuality and wakes up into the unbroken awareness of Brahman, Ishvara and the universe, two melt and merge into the one Nirguna Brahman. The following analogy makes the idea clear. The jivas are many fragments of the pancake ice that surrounds Ishvara, the giant iceberg floating in the polar seas of Nirguna Brahman in the marvelous iridescent glow of the aurora borealis of avidya in the Arctic winter. But the moment the Arctic summer sets in, and the sun of Jnana, the numerous fragments on the pancake ice, and the iceberg melt and merge in the Arctic Sea whence they emanated. So too, Jiva and Ishvara, who are but projections of Brahman, are real, so long as the differential awareness persists. But when the universal awareness has dawned, Ishvara, the Jivas and the multitudinous universe melt and merge in the undeniable awareness of the non-dual Nirguna Brahman. Bhagwaan Ji said Omkara is the throat of the Godhead. Nothing is possible without it. Bhagwaan Ji also told sort of Sakara Upasana will help in realizing the Atman, meaning that the Atman be realized by Vichara and not Sakara Upasana. Addressing a devotee, Bhagwaan Ji once said in Ahankaras Namaskar, Sui Gao Omkar, Tami Sati Bani Sakshatkar. This means bidding adieu to Ahankara, the ego, means concentration on Omkara, by which one will get Sakshatkara, self-realization. Or, Ahankara means the realization that I am the universe or the true ego, and that is Omkara leading to Sakshatkara, self-realization. To be continued.